Was Jeffrey Epstein involved in Bitcoin? No, no, and no. How many times do I have to say stop reading stupid stuff on the internet? No, Jeffrey Epstein was not involved in Bitcoin. So with the Jeffrey Epstein emails, everybody found out, which I think they already knew, that Jeffrey Epstein gave money to MIT. MIT, one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. And he also gave money to a zillion other institutions. Those institutions turned around and gave money to a ton of things. They sponsored projects, they donated to stuff, they did philanthropic blah, blah, blah. They, endowed various chairs of, random stuff. They gave money to stuff. Jeffrey Epstein was one of numerous people who gave money to MIT and numerous other organizations. Those organizations gave money to numerous other things. Some of the people that received grants and funding from MIT, some of them worked on cell phones, some of them worked on the internet, some of them worked on email, some of them worked on cryptocurrencies, some of them worked on, jet engines, auto mechanic, internal combustion engines, electric cars. So the fact that when he shoved some of his dirty money into MIT and it mixed with a zillion people's clean money, and then they funded various projects, does not mean Jeffrey Epstein funded Bitcoin. Okay, JP Morgan banked Jeffrey Epstein. All of the crimes he committed were not done with cryptocurrencies, which he was aware of, just like everybody was aware of back that was plugged into those inner circles. He knew Reid Hoffman and people like that who were very familiar with cryptocurrencies way back in the early days. So he was aware of cryptocurrencies. He did not use cryptocurrencies for any of his nefarious activities. He used the US dollar. The best money in the world for committing crimes is the US dollars. That is Jeffrey Epstein's preferred money, was the US dollar, not cryptocurrencies. His preferred bank was JP Morgan Chase. And guess what? If you have JP Morgan Chase is the largest bank in the United States. A ton of people have the Chase Sapphire, credit card. Tons of people have bank accounts with JP Morgan, with Chase Bank, all of that. If you received even 1 penny of interest from an account at JP Morgan, does that make you a criminal? Because guess what? They were, by banking Jeffrey Epstein and by him paying various fees and all that sort of stuff, Jeffrey Epstein's money was going into JP Morgan. You, if you had an account at JP Morgan, were getting interest from Jeffrey Epstein's money. Now, the truth was, it probably composed 1/1 billionth of 1% of what you were receiving. But does that make that money dirty? Does that mean if you have a JP Morgan Chase bank account that you were complicit in his crimes? It's the same sort of ridiculous logic of someone saying he gave money to MIT and MIT gave money to a gazillion other people. And if a zillion people mix their money at MIT and then it goes to a zillion other people, it's somehow dirty because one of the people who put some money in the massive pot was dirty money, that somehow it taints everything that MIT does and every graduate. Would you say that everybody who has a degree from MIT since Jeffrey Epstein contributed money now has a dirty degree? Now that they should not practice engineering or aerospace design because they have an MIT degree that was subsidized 1/billionth of 1% by Jeffrey Epstein? It's ridiculous logic. So no, Jeffrey Epstein had nothing to do with the start of Bitcoin. Even the discussions about cryptocurrency or anything like that are like 2015. It's like way later. I can't remember the timing of his MIT grant, but MIT's involvement with Bitcoin came way later. It wasn't even in the first 5 or 6 or 7 years. It came later. It was like 7 years in. I think it was like 2015 when MIT got interested or something like that, which was like 6 years after the start of Bitcoin. So no, Jeffrey Epstein is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Jeffrey Epstein is an idiot and a pervert. He is not smart enough to even think about Bitcoin, he wasn't even smart enough when he was alive to even think about or understand Bitcoin. So he's not Satoshi Nakamoto. He did not fund Bitcoin development. There's no backdoor to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not invented by the CIA. Bitcoin is not controlled by Mossad. Like, give me a break. Like, people come up with these insane clickbait headlines to try to just drive social media traffic, and then nobody checks any of them. So people have been sending me all this stuff on, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And literally all I do is I feed it into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, is there any merits to any of these claims? it analyzes them real quick and says, no, this is completely made up. It's completely fake. There's no evidence anywhere on the internet that any of the things that are in this social media post are accurate. And including some of the screenshots people are sharing of emails and stuff like that. It's like ChatGPT literally says, this is made up. Someone made this up. Like, there is no evidence that this screenshot that somebody claims came from the Epstein files, there's no evidence it's actually in the Epstein files. Someone made it up. And then, of course, it spread virally on the internet because a bunch of idiots shared it without checking ChatGPT or Google, which ChatGPT is way better for checking stuff like that. So anyway, Jeffrey Epstein had nothing to do with Bitcoin ever. There's no back doors. It's not invented, by the CIA. Bitcoin was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto, a libertarian guy like me. He invented it. He gifted it to the world. He told the whole world why he invented it, because he was sick of governments and big banks screwing over the people by inventing new money out of thin air and thereby devaluing the work and labor and life's energy of the people. And so Satoshi Nakamoto solved the problem. And now a bunch of idiots are listening to AI slop that is gushing all over social media as people make up fake screenshots and fake headlines, and they're all clickbaiting each other. And people are asking me, hey, is this true? Well, first of all, I'm happy to answer. Second, you can also ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will tell you every stupid thing is not true also. And it can actually search the entire internet. So anyway, some people, I just don't know. If you believe everything on the internet, you're going to have a tough life. And a lot of people have a tough life. And they have a tough life because they believe everything on the internet. In fact, interestingly enough, if you go back and study the early days of Bitcoin, which I have, there's a bunch of people who dumped all their Bitcoin between 2012 and 2014 because they believed a bunch of things that weren't true back then. Rumors spread that the government was going to ban it, which was never even possible. Rumors spread that, somebody had been compromised. Rumors spread. It's all these rumors. It's just like today, except they didn't have ChatGPT. And so all these people, back then are posting on Twitter, I sold all my Bitcoin for $8 because I'm worried about, XYZ fill in the stupid rumor. And again, they didn't have ChatGPT, so it was harder to fact check stuff. But they had stuff like that, like Snopes and stuff like that, where you could, fact check stupid stuff, or they could Google it. And a bunch of people don't have Bitcoin now. And if you read why, it's because they believe some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, some FUD from the past that was never true. And then they dumped all their Bitcoin at $2 and $8 and $12. And they could have made, tens of thousands of times their money. But like an idiot, they didn't fact check something they read on the internet. So they sold all their Bitcoin in a panic and, missed out on, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's just the story of humanity all over again. So, I'm not going to reiterate the title of this video because I've already done it like 3 times on this video, but whatever stupid headline you hear about Bitcoin that involves the deep state, that involves manipulation, government control, backdoors, evil characters, none of it is true. It's open source software. Anyone in the world can go look at the open source code of Bitcoin. You can literally read all the code of Bitcoin right now. There's nothing hidden in there. It's an open book. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just insane. But anyway, Bitcoin's great. Bitcoin's fine. The only people who are going to lose out from all these stupid rumors are the people who listen to them, internalize them, and take action on them. And hopefully that's not you. I hope if you're watching this video, you're smart enough to not be an idiot and not believe everything you see on the internet. Bitcoin's fine. I wish everybody would stop being dumb and believing stupid stuff. And the price will eventually go up. It's already up $10,000 from last night, but is that going to stay that way or is it temporary? Nobody knows. All I know is that in the long term, Bitcoin will be far higher than it is today. It's that simple, which makes it a great time to buy Bitcoin, like always.